Welcome back to Moon Harbor Heroes. Today's issue is Supay, issue 1, In the Shadow of Dark Mark. The cover is a shot from low to the ground, looking up towards a tall building. Dark Mark perches on top of the building, the moonlight hitting him from behind, sending his long shadow down the full length of the building. On the ground, Supay runs through the shadow, glancing over their shoulder at something unseen. We turn the page and our story begins. So a quick recap about what's happening in the world of Moon Harbor at this point.
Yeah, where does this take place? This
is about 3 or 4 days after the alien invasion, the Astron invasion. About 2 weeks ago at this point, we started having a bunch of villains getting caught by Saber, including Traceless, who we would know as Machina's dad, and Poison Oak, who Machina and the crew, the Cataclysm crew, caught earlier the week before. And in the ensuing fight, there was a breakout attempt to get some of the MMM's key members out of the Saber headquarters. 3 of them managed to escape. We had Crux and Reset, and we had Queen Bee, along with the mobster and a handful of other...
Did Vixen make it out? I can't remember.
No, Vixen did not make it out. Vixen was with you all when it ended.
Right.
Also, but at that same time, the Astrons attacked. And they kind of, blew through the hole underneath the road on top of Saber Base, drilled down and attacked the Saber Base, which is in a cavern underground underneath the city. And they were trying to get back Kevin, who is a, known, supervillain criminal from Asteron.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where we left off. The MMM got away, and there was a pretty big fight happening in the cavern with the Astrons and a bunch of Saber operatives, including Glacier and a handful of others. And yeah, so this takes place about 3 days after that.
Cool.
We start with a panel of the TV. There's a news reporter talking, and we just get to the end of his sentence, and he's saying, have been going on for the past week, or the past several days, but don't seem to be making any progress. We take you now to Town Hall, where our senator... What's our senator's name?
Niles something. You pick the last name.
O'Sullivan.
O'Sullivan. That's
Niles O'Sullivan. Yeah.
Every name that came to mind wasn't a name that is preceded by O.
Niles O'Sullivan is on the TV, facing off against the Astron Overlord, Krylus Sunsbane. And they're fighting very loudly and very aggressively over the rights of these prisoners.
Is Niles just a mundane, or is he a cape?
Niles is a mundane. Yeah, okay. Niles is a senator.
Capes can be senators.
That's true. Niles is just a senator, no powers, no capes, as far as we know. I mean, he might be someone else, but, lots of people have secret identities in this world. They're fighting, yelling at each other. Kryla has a translator, so Kryla is yelling, and then the translator is kind of meekly saying what Kryla is screaming, and then Niles is screaming, and the translator is kind of meekly responding back. It's very uncomfortable.
I like the panel, the way it's drawn. There's this untranslated, just super big letters, and then just little translation letters. I like that.
Absolutely. They're arguing about the prisoners, and the news clip has kind of interlaid over top of it a video of a group of the prisoners in Saber headquarters. It looks like someone may have broken in and filmed it guerrilla style. So we see this kind of grainy footage video of the Asteron prisoners, all in a very, very small cell. There's probably about 12 of them, including Kevin, the supervillain, aforementioned supervillain, and then Kryla's voice gets very quiet, and the letters get very small on the page, and Kryla says something very cold, and then the translator meekly responds and says, "We can make a trade." And everyone in the room looks kind of confused. Most people in the room are Earthlings, are human or mutant. And then Kryla presses a button, and on the TV on your TV, we're looking at a TV, we see Glacier, beaten and bloodied in an Asteron prison.
Okay.
Glacier, as we all know, is the head of Saber, who has been missing for about a week, but there was a pretty serious fight, so we thought maybe she was getting some medical care, but it turns out she was not. No, she's been missing for about 3 days.
3 days, man.
And at that point, the screen turns off, and in the panel, we see the TV with a reflection of two faces. One is an incredibly familiar face to longtime readers of Moon Harbor comics, the Dark Mark, again, kind of the Batman of this world. And then the other is a newer, fresh-faced, and young face, a relatively unknown hero known as Supay.
I think, like, within the greater meta world, like, Dark Mark comics are starting to kind of go down in sales.
Yeah, absolutely. Dark Mark is getting brought into the younger generation by introducing Supay. Dark Mark has been notoriously a lone agent. Very mysterious. We don't know a lot about him. We do know that his name is Marcellus. I'm going to give him Marcellus Powers. And he turns to face you. And he says, so, all the people associated with Saber and the full-time, part-time operatives and the like, we're all being watched very carefully. This is a delicate situation, you can tell. I assume you can tell that this is delicate. Otherwise, I'd be going with you. But we are under strict orders to not interfere. Boost and Outlet have kind of taken charge, even though they're just dumbass kids. And I don't want to risk anyone getting hurt, because I think they might react badly for all of the superheroes. Plus, I think this is probably a good time for you to show that you can do it. So, you get what you have to do, right?
We had a panel of crews, and then they just get this big grin on their face, and just say, I won't let you down.
Dark Mark rolls his eyes, and he's like, don't get cocky, kid. This is not that big of a deal. You're gonna break into the Astron spaceship. You have your portal. Your watch, right? It's charged. You charged your watch.
They tap it. Or I tap it.
It lights up. People who are familiar with Dark Mark would know that that is a teleportal. Dark Mark has one on his wrist that he wears. He can use it to get from place to place. He can't just, like, make a teleportal appear anywhere random. Otherwise, he probably would just pop into Glacier's cell, get out. But he can go from, like, point A to point B. So he's got a teleportal in his secret base. He's also got a teleportal on his wrist at all times, and you now have one as well. And he's like, so yeah, you go in, you find Glacier, you call me, I'll teleportal to you, and we'll get out of there. Cool?
Cool.
If you have to break some necks on the way, they're Astrons. It's fine. They heal quick. Cool?
I nod. So, I really get to go to space?
No, they're parked above the park.
Oh. Well, yeah, I can do it.
Yeah, I know you can. If you look on the map, and he clicks a button, and the screen turns into a map. Yep. They're parked kind of right over the, like, riverbed there. There's a water tower not far from there. You could probably get in via that way. Jump in, or hang gliding, or something. I don't know what kids do these nowadays, but, help burn the water tower down and have it fall onto the spaceship for all I care.
That I can do.
So, yeah, good luck, I believe in you, or whatever. He, like, pats you on the shoulder. It almost looks like he's going in for a hug. And then he definitely doesn't. He's like, call me when you're done.
I throw off a sloppy salute and head out.
Cool, so where do you go? What's your first step?
I'd like to get... You said they're at the park?
Yeah.
I'd like to get... It's the same park.
It's the same park.
Excellent. It's always the same park, right?
It's a very popular park for the young comics of Moon Harbor.
So, can we, like, set the next scene kind of at the edge of the park? Like, well away from the ship, but within view?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just kind of want to, like, scout out the area.
Yeah, so the way the park is laid out, there's a river kind of running alongside of it. They seem to be, like, parked, floating, kind of, like, hovery, above the edge of the river. The park is laid out so it's, like, city, then the park, then some trees, and the river runs, like...
The river runs through it?
River runs through it, yeah.
Okay.
So you could either be on the city side or the tree side if you wanted to.
I probably approach from the city side, so we'll just, like, start it there.
So yeah, you're standing in an alley across the street, on the edge of the park. You've got a pretty clear shot of the spaceship. It's large. It is large, it is armored, there are guns. It is not a low-tech experiment here.
Cool, so I'm probably in full costume at this point, but, like, with a hoodie over top it to kind of hide it a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we get a panel of me, like, in this alley, kind of crouched down behind some trash cans, like, far enough away I really don't need to be hiding, but I'm doing it anyway with some binoculars, and there's some, like, scout out the area.
Absolutely. As you do it, you hear movement beside you. Not like beside you, but like probably the next alley over.
Okay. Is this something that should be alarming?
I mean, it's.
Does it sound like unusual, or because I mean,
it doesn't sound. It sounds like a person, probably. It doesn't sound like the Astron guards, who, as you know, are about 7 foot.
Frankly,
6.
probably not terribly worried about it.
No,
just because there's people.
There's people around. There's someone in an alley near you. It's just notable because it's pretty quiet over here.
Okay.
People have been kind of avoiding this park since except for like dumb teenage kids.
Mm-hmm.
And like the occasional like young superhero who tries to attack the Astron spaceship, who is.
I'd like to just scout out looking out at the spaceship, the surrounding area. I kind of assess.
That's cool. Let's go ahead and assess the situation.
That is plus superior. What is? I don't even remember what my labels are. That's a 10.
That's a 10. All right, you get to
And
ask
I have
3?
be mindful of your surroundings. So when you assess the situation before entering into a fight, you may ask one additional question, even on a miss.
Cool.
Okay, let's start with what here can I use to get in the spaceship?
Yeah. So as Dark Mark mentioned, there's a water tower nearby. You could probably jump in from there. It's not far, but also there are telephone wires nearby. You could probably like climb up a telephone pole and get in a little bit easier that way. The other option, if you want to go a little bit more reckless and dangerous, there are some dune buggies that have been left there that are like on the riverbed. You could probably hit, like, there's a pile of rocks. You could probably hit a pile of rocks hard enough to launch the dune buggy up and like kind of crash into the ship. I don't know if that would get you in, but it would get you on the ship at least.
As appealing as that is, it feels more like a Vax move.
Okay. Can you set the water tower? What is that?
Yeah.
Look like? Can we get like a panel of the water tower? Because I'm checking that out.
Yeah, absolutely. So the water tower, it's labeled with Moon Harbor. There's a painting of a moon on it, on the top of it. There's a ladder that starts about 15 feet up. Looks like you'd have to like get a hook to pull it down, or jump up, or I don't know how you would get that ladder down, or just whatever. It's tall cylindrical base, going up probably about 30 feet, probably about 45 feet. And then it opens up into the like mushroom top look. There is a like catwalk around the perimeter on the widest part of it, as well as some space on the top for you to like stand where, and presumably you can like open the top to get in.
How far is that from the
probably about 30 feet. It's parked pretty close to it.
Is it like level height wise?
It's so the top of that is probably of the water tower is probably about 60 feet. The spaceship's probably floating about 40. So there's some drops.
I'm just gonna run and jump.
You're just gonna run and jump.
I think that's the eventual plan.
I think that sounds good.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna hold it. Like I'm just gonna not worry about the rest of the questions.
Cool.
Can I make it to the water tower without being obviously seen from the ship? Or what time of day are we setting?
It's evening.
Okay.
It's evening. Probably has just gotten dark. Streetlights are on. The park's pretty quiet. You could probably make it across there.
I'm going to be heading towards the water tower, kind of quickly darting from like spot to spot, trying not to be seen. Yeah, I think I'll probably like pull off the hoodie halfway through the park.
Cool. You tossing it in a trash can, just dropping it?
Yeah, just
cool.
Toss it.
So as you step out from the alley into the street to cross it to get to the park, someone else steps out next to you from the next alley over. And you'll notice a familiar figure that is missing Lynx. Missing Lynx is a hero from Saber. You would probably recognize her from the news, though you've probably never met her.
Okay.
She has no idea who you are. You have no idea who she is. But you're both in full superhero attire. And there has been an express statement to all superheroes that no one is supposed to go to this spaceship. So you two kind of make eye contact. And Missing Lynx is like, wait, who are you?
Who are you?
Okay, don't play dumb with me, kid. You know who I am. You're from around here, I assume.
I just moved here from Eclipse Point.
Great. That's like an hour from here. I would assume you would still know the superheroes if you were moving in. I'm Missing Lynx. This is Sass. She points at a Lynx next to her.
I hate Missing Lynx, but God, I love Sass.
Sass cocks an eyebrow. Sass doesn't believe you. Missing Lynx probably does. And Lynx is like, so, what do you do?
I'm going to just
take my hands like in an X and just swing them out and just burst out flames like into a demon form face in front of me. And just kind of blast like a fear aura with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I did.
Are you unleashing your powers, or are you just if you're not trying to reshape your environment, we don't need to roll for it.
That's what I'm doing. If I need to roll, tell me.
Cool, you don't.
Okay.
She kind of takes a step back from the heat and cocks her eyebrow at you, and she's like, yeah, okay.
And I see you have a cat. That's cool.
I have a cat. It's a lynx, actually. I'm a martial fighter. I can fight things. How were you planning on getting in there? I assume you were going to go try to break into the spaceship.
I mean, of course not, but if I was... Let's think about it. I think the best would be to jump from that water tower. Why, how were you planning on getting in there?
She reaches into her pocket and presses a button. She pulls out what looks like a pen. It's a little bit larger than a pen. It's a small pipe. She presses a button on it, and it literally folds out into a hang glider in her hand. And she's like, same thing, but less falling, more gliding.
Do you have another one of those?
No, but this one can hold two.
I think we got us a team up.
She presses the button.
I'm going to go to high-five her.
She high-fives you.
Oh, excellent.
She kind of grins, and she's like, you're cool, you know that? Like, I don't say that to a lot of people, but you're kind of cool. And then she's like, you're not part of Saber, right?
Saber? No, I'm kidding. No.
Cool, good, you're good.
I'm going to hold out my hand for a handshake and say I'm Supay.
Supay. That's an interesting name. What is that? What is that?
It's a demon.
Yeah, that feels appropriate for your powers. Cool. Lynx, I already said that, but we should probably get going since you just blasted fire, and if they hadn't seen us before, they'd probably see us now.
So I'd like a panel with Supay looking up at the ship and like, oh. Because this did not occur to them or me.
She smiles, and she's kind of like, for the readers of the Moon Harbor comics, especially the readers of Cataclysm Crew, we don't often see this side of Lynx. Lynx is not normally ever... I don't think we've seen Lynx smile unless it's, like, cruel.
I mean...
Ever.
In fairness, Max is always trying to punch her in the face.
I mean, in fairness, that's true. But she's kind of laughing a little bit. She's like, all right, let's go. And she goes over to the base of the water tower, and she picks Sass up and throws him up. He grabs onto the ladder, and the ladder slides down.
Well, that was convenient. I hadn't quite figured that part of the plan out yet.
We're a good team. And then she says, after you?
I'm gonna head on up.
Cool. She heads on up as well.
While this is happening, I'm kind of keeping an eye on the ship. Do I see any movement or anything going on?
All the windows are tinted, so if there's any movement inside, you don't notice
No,
anything.
giant laser cannon swinging on my position with a red dot on my forehead. That's good.
No, there's nothing like that.
Okay.
You do know that the Asteron Overlord is not currently at the spaceship. They've been taken to a different city for these negotiations. An undisclosed city to both the Senator and the Overlord.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we make it to the top of the water tower. And Lynx looks at you and she says, you're not very large, but it may be easier if you held on to the hang glider and then held on to me. Can we do that?
Yeah, that works.
She looks at you and she's like, scratch that. Nope, we'll both hold on. And so she grabs one side of the hang glider and then she offers you the other side.
Okay, let's do it.
And then she's like, if we don't jump at the same time, we're going to go off path. So we need to jump on 3. Ready? She holds her hand out and Sass jumps onto her hand.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, 1. We're going to jump after 3. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, jump. Cool, got it?
I'm glad you specified because I was definitely going to do whatever the opposite of what she did with that.
And she says, all right, let's go. Ready? 1, 2, and you both start running. She says 3, and you jump. Do you jump at the same time?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go ahead and say that you start to drift slightly off course.
I have an idea.
You're a little bit heavier than she is, so it starts to kind of like tilt, and it looks like you probably won't land.
I'd like to put out one hand and just conjure some fire and like create a heat updraft on that side to push that wing back up.
Yeah, go ahead and roll to unleash your powers for me.
6.
It's a 6. I don't think you've yet gotten any team points for working with each other.
Technically, we start with one.
I mean, technically, you do start with one. Do you want to use a team selfishly? I suppose I could have her use a team. You tell me if you want her to use a team or if you want to just deal with the 6.
Let's go ahead and have her use the team.
Cool. She sees you light up the flame and it's a little too close to the hang glider, and she like pushes your hand down and she's like, paper wings. More distance.
And then either mark a condition, or it's unstable or temporary.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to mark insecure.
That makes
because I
sense.
just screwed up in front of someone that is a major hero.
Yeah,
like I
that's
almost
true.
just lit her thing on fire.
Yes. Missing Lynx is a pretty massive hero. She's also right now probably like 3rd in charge of Saber if Outlet and Boost are in charge. So it's a bit strange that Lynx is here, but that's okay. Whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, so you land on the shuttle or in the spaceship pretty comfortably.
Like on top of it? Where do we land?
So it's kind of like triangular shaped, so it's like pretty big triangle at the top coming out to a little bit flatter and then kind of triangle again.
Okay.
You land on one of like the side flatter sections.
Okay.
The metal underneath you land in a perfect 3-point stance. The metal underneath your hand feels warm.
Is the button on the hang glider on my side of the hang glider or hers?
It's on the front. She lands next to you. She presses the button. It folds up and goes in her pocket. And then you both land. And again, the metal feels warm. It's not like hot.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like skin temperature. What do you want to do?
So looking immediately around, like, are there any obvious entryways or...
There is a small doorway near the turret that's near you. Looks like it's probably the entrance to that turret. And then if you look, you can actually see that like some of the glass or some of the metal is transparent. It looks like they may be windows. They're very, very tinted, so it's almost like it almost perfectly matches the black of the ship, but you can see that there is some transparency there. So you could maybe break in through a window, or you could go in through that doorway. There may be more in other places.
Okay, I think I'm going to head for that door first.
Cool.
What does Lynx do after we land? I'm going to immediately head for that door and like kind of glance back at Lynx, see what she's
Lynx
doing.
is following you. Lynx is
Okay.
also heading to the door. Lynx reaches into her pocket and pulls out a crossbow. Not into her pocket, and she's got a slug across her back as a crossbow that she pulls out. And she has a bolt loaded. And it's kind of pointed at you, but like not at you. It's just like
in my direction.
you're in front of her as you're going towards the door.
Right. Ooh, old school. I like it.
She laughs, and then she takes out a second bolt, and then she shows you that there's an explosive on the end of it. And she's like, not that old school.
I'm glad you showed me that. I was about to light the end of that on fire.
She laughs and she says, that would have been really bad. We both would have died.
I think like at that, maybe we get the panel with me reaching the door. I'm just going to see if I can yank it open.
Yeah.
Started out easy.
So the door doesn't look like it opens out. It looks like it opens inward.
Okay.
And there's no clear handle on your side. You could probably there's a panel on the wall, but there's no clear handle.
Okay. What does this panel look like?
It's a glass panel. As you approach, it lights up, and it's like in lettering that you don't know what it says. It's an Astron. And there's great. Go ahead and roll to. I'm gonna say that's let's say we're provoking someone. That's a 4 on the dice.
6.
6.
So, nope.
Cool. As you press it, the panel opens, like the glass slides apart, and you see an eye underneath, like a physical eye. And it's large. The panel is probably about 4x4. So the eye is about that size, and it blinks and it looks at you, and then you hear this snarl coming from all around you, and then the panel closes.
Okay, I am going to now jump back a bit and then just start looking around, trying to figure out where that all came from.
Yeah. As you jump back and you land, you can feel that the ship is vibrating underneath you. Almost like there's a growl coming from inside of it.
Okay. Can I assess here?
Yeah, please assess.
Cool.
Assess away.
I'm just going to roll a superior over and over. That's
Cool. It seems like it's a safe bet. Did you mark potential on that?
I did not yet. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That is a 11.
Cool. You're going to ask 3.
What here's the biggest threat?
The ship is alive. The ship is a living creature, and it's furious because you just poked its eye its eyelid a bunch of times.
Well, maybe it shouldn't have had buttons on it. What here can I use to get in?
Yeah, so the turret's right there. You could potentially turn the turret around, and if you figured out how to use it, you could blast the door open.
Is it, like, controlled from the outside?
It's controlled from the outside. Like, someone could stand on it, and it's like someone stands on it and uses it to maneuver and shoot.
I'm gonna do it immediately.
Great.
I'll jump in the turret and...
Yeah, as you jump in the turret, you see that all over the ship, these glass panels have opened up, and all the eyes are focused on you, and a couple of the lasers have now turned their attention to you. Like, they have spun to face you.
I'm gonna yell out, "Hey, Miss Lynx, I think we should be moving."
She's already on it. She starts shooting, she shoots a crossbow bolt at an eye across the way, and it explodes, and we hear this agonizing scream of pain as she shoots and blasts the eye of the spaceship.
Excellent. Yeah, can I figure out these controls at all?
You have one more on that two more on that assess the situation, right?
I think one more on that, because I did Greatest Danger and What Here Can I Use? What here can I use to control the turret?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. I mean, it looks almost video gamey. Like old school Galaga kind of gamey. It's got a joystick with a button on top. Presumably, you could use that to make it hit the thing.
Cool. Yeah, I'm going to spin the turret towards the door.
Cool.
And try to shoot the panel, the eye that was right next to me, that, and then the door.
Cool. You do
directly engage? Oh, okay.
It's relatively easy. You hit the eye, there's another agonizing scream, and a laser blasts. The laser hits the turret, and the turret looks like it took some damage, but it probably has 1 or 2 shots left in it. Go ahead and directly engage to hit the door itself.
Okay. 12.
Perfect. All right. Yeah, you hit that door goes blasting off its hinges.
I'm going to resist or avoid, and I'm going to take something from them.
The door?
The door.
Yeah, the door is gone. The door got blown inward. And as you jump off... go ahead and tell me how you resist or avoid the blows. The lasers are about to shoot at you.
I think I just, dive out of the turret as the turret explodes behind me, right as the lasers hit the turret.
Yeah.
Because I like that. I like that, just barely dodging out in time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then bolt for the door.
Yeah, and Lynx is, right on top of you. Lynx comes in the door as well. There's no coverage inside because the door has been blown off, so there's nothing to hide behind. But it does look like the hallway is empty.
Cool.
And it doesn't seem like there's any lasers with a vantage point to hit you from outside. The only one would have been that turret, but that turret is now destroyed.
Yeah,
Lynx is panting, and then Lynx is like, okay, so much for a quiet entrance.
Well, I mean, I didn't expect it to have eyes.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to have eyes either. I mean, I thought that metal felt weird, but I didn't think that... Okay, whatever. So, what are we doing?
So, we run into the hallway at this point?
Yeah.
What are we seeing?
You are at the top of a dark staircase, jet black staircase, leading to a dark hallway down at the bottom. It's a straight staircase down.
Okay, I think, once, there's probably, a panel of us both, leaning against the, opposite sides of the hallway, kind of sliding, sitting down against the wall, just this whole, laser fire outside the door, but can't quite make it to where we are in the hallway. Maybe hitting, just on the inside edge of the hallway.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, both of us kind of looking down, I guess the only way is down. And I'm gonna, pull up, a ball of flame in my hand to light the way.
Excellent.
And then, let's start heading down, fairly quickly.
Great, yeah.
At this point, stealth is not on our side, so we might as well be fast.
Great, so you run down the stairs.
I think, can we get a couple panels so I can talk to Lynx as we're running down the stairs?
Yeah, sure, go wild.
So, do you know where they're holding them? Her? Glacier's female, right?
Glacier's female, yeah. No, I have no idea. My plan was to try to sneak in and find a, computer room and some sort of security room or something and try to find a map. See if I couldn't find, a way to access her. But I don't know how we're going to get out now that we've got all these eyes on us. So I don't know if it's going to be hard to find her, but getting out's going to be a problem.
I think we'll just have to burn that bridge when we come to it.
That's not how that phrase goes, but that's okay.
It is for me.
She kind of smiles, she's charmed. She finds you charming. Just at that moment, You hear...
I'd like to give her influence, by the way.
Cool. She's got influence over you.
She's probably only the second person I've ever met that's thought my powers are cool and useful.
Just at that moment, you hear a shout from... You have made it to the hallway, which looks like it's kind of connected to a series of other hallways.
Wait, she's an adult. She, by default, does. But whatever.
Yes.
If she didn't, I wouldn't be giving it to her.
She's a young adult. Lynx is only in her 20s. She's not that old.
Oh, okay.
You hear a shout in Asteron down the hall. You can't see where it's coming from because this is a bit of a maze of hallways that you just arrived in.
Mm-hmm.
But you do hear it coming from down, kind of to your left-ish.
Okay. I'm gonna go the other way.
Cool. The hallway kind of goes... It makes it to the bottom of the stairs, and there's a hallway, and then it branches off into two directions. There's a left and a right. There's also a straight.
We hear the shouting from the left.
We hear the shouting from the left.
So, I running down the hallway. I turn to go down the left, and then we get a panel where I hear the shout down that, and I skid to a stop and just turn and run straight the other way. So I guess it would be to the right.
To the right. Cool. As you're running...
and I like that there's a panel where, we get it from Lynx's perspective. I turn left and then just straight back across the hallway. They're like, what the hell?
Yeah, so Lynx actually starts getting faster than you and running in front of you. Lynx is pretty fast. Lynx is... that's kind of their thing. They're her thing. She's fast and she's strong.
Sass is bolting beside at this point.
Yeah, they're sprinting ahead of you. And you all get to a panel of, little circle that splits into 4 directions, including the one plus the one you just came from. So there are 5 exits out of this, circular room. And she says, what do you think? Go together? Split up?
I think we'll cover more ground if we split up.
Great. She points to the one directly ahead of you all. She says, I'll take that one.
And I'll hit to the left.
Cool. So you take one of the left ones, and Sass is going to take one of the ones to the right.
Excellent.
So cool. Let's start with what you're doing. So you run down the hallway, and you...
What do the inside the walls look like? What is just a general description of what the standard layout looks like?
It's sleek and black and shiny. It's probably not metal, now that we know that this thing is alive. But it's got almost an obelisk kind of shine to it.
Okay.
A black obelisk.
So very featureless in general?
Yes.
Okay. No convenient English markings?
No.
Saying holding cells?
No markings at all. There are some panels on the walls.
I don't like touching panels.
Yeah.
I'm going to end up finding its mouth.
There are also...
It bit off my hand.
There's also, in each of the little, at least in the, circular room you were just in, the floor glows, white. So it's a very, bright room. The rest of the walls are still that shiny black, but it does have the option to, give you some light here.
I like the lighting from below. That's pretty cool. Alright, yeah, so I'll head down the left.
Cool. As you're running, you hear a bunch of voices ahead of you, all speaking in Asteron, which you don't understand. They're not yelling, they're just talking.
Okay, I'll probably...
It sounds like it's right around the corner from you.
I will slow down, just kind of peek.
Cool. Go ahead and roll to assess the situation for me.
More superior. 11.
Cool.
Okay, what do I see peeking around the corner first?
So there's a series of guards who are talking angrily at one another and kind of pointing back and forth. The Asteron guards, I'm not sure if you know what they look like. They look a little bit different on TV. They're a lot more intimidating in person. They stand at about 7'6". They've got this thin blue bodysuit on and then just bulging muscles. These are ridiculously strong looking people. Asterons are vaguely
just to
humanoid.
put the image out there, I'm probably about 5'3", 5'4". So.
5'3", 5'4"?
Yeah.
Yeah. These people have got a good 2 feet on you, comfortably. And each of them has what looks like the hilt of a blade at their waist, on their belt. And then in their left hand, each of them has... It almost looks like a lightsaber. But you've seen them in use from clips of that news, the news clips from the attack.
Mm-hmm.
Those are something called you would probably classify as a taser cannon. They shoot these beams of electricity out that are pretty debilitating.
Okay.
It looks like they can cripple
like a stun blaster.
Like a stun blaster, yeah. They drop people pretty hard.
And how many of them are there?
There are 3.
What does the room they're in look like? Or are they just in another hallway?
They're in a hallway, and it looks like there's that transparent glass metal look that you remember from earlier. One of the walls of that hallway is just that. So You've got the like sleek black metal-y look, and then the transparent black look on the other side.
Okay.
And they're standing in front of that transparent glass.
Okay, and can I see the end of the hallway?
Oh yeah. I mean, past them, it looks like there's just another turn.
Okay. Okay, so on the questions, who here is most vulnerable to me?
The guard closest to you is closest to you.
Okay.
So you could probably blast them with some fire if you wanted to. Honestly, this hallway is pretty small. You could probably get all of them with a fiery blast if you wanted to. But if you were going to melee, none of them look that vulnerable to you. You're 5'3", and they're all 7'6" or taller. So, power-wise, probably any of them. Melee-wise, you're most vulnerable to you.
I think we get a panel where, like, you know, we've got the panel where they're peeking around the corner, then we get a panel where we'll be back on the other, you know, back, not peeking, just, like, with my back against it. Like, okay. And then I'm going to just pull up a huge amount of flame and just jump out into the hallway and just blast that like demon flame of face and have it like fly forward towards them and trying to scare them.
Yeah, absolutely. You're trying to scare them?
Yeah, more scare them than hurt them.
Cool. Go to unleash your powers.
Okay. Because I don't like the odds of a 3-on-1 fight.
No, that makes sense.
When each of them is like twice my height.
I think
so that's basically a 6-on-1 fight.
Yeah.
That is a 5.
Cool. Yeah, that fire blasts out, and it hits all of them pretty hard. You hear some screaming, you smell burning flesh. It's gruesome. And then the fire dissipates, and you see 2 of them are down. 2 of them are just on the ground. Whether they're alive or dead is unclear. The third one is the corner of their uniform is on fire, but they're holding a walkie-talkie or some sort of communicator in their hand, and they're frantically yelling into it in Asteron, in very clear saying that something is wrong and that people should be coming. Whether you know that or not, you can kind of piece together that they're calling for reinforcements.
Yeah, I mean, a guard talking into a walkie-talkie, kind of a universal language.
Yeah. And then that one turns to you, still on fire, and points the taser cannon at you and blasts it. Go ahead and roll to take a powerful blow.
Okay.
You have 1 condition marked.
Yep. I feel like I should mark guilty. I think
Cool.
I'm pretty sure I just killed 2 people, and that was
Cool.
not at all my intent.
Yeah, mark guilty away. So now you've got 2 conditions marked.
This could be real short.
Mm-hmm. It's an 8.
Yep.
On a 7 or 9, you can choose 1. You don't have any teammates, so you can't lash out verbally.
I think I give ground.
Cool.
Because I don't think I can deal with 2 conditions right now. That would put me up to 4.
Yeah, so you get blasted, and the taser cannon knocks you to the ground. It, in fact, is as debilitating as you saw on TV. Your entire body is convulsing, and you feel 2 hands roughly grab you by the wrists and pull you up, pull the wrists behind you, and you feel handcuffs snap around your wrists. And as you get pulled to your feet, you glance beside you to the transparent wall, and right behind that transparent wall is Glacier. A doorway opens, and you get shoved in with Glacier, and it seals shut.
Moon Harbor Heroes is produced by Anthony Sheets and TP Huth, and edited by Anthony Sheets. Anthony can be found on Twitter at IcyNewYear or at IcyNewYear.com. T is the host of Incubator on Air, a new play podcast available on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and Google Play. They can be found at T Huth Playwright on Twitter or TP Huth94 on Instagram. This issue was GM'd by TP Huth, and Supay was played by me, Anthony Sheets. The music in this issue is Nightmare Machine by Kevin MacLeod. A link to the license and his website will be in the show notes. Our logo was designed by Beautiful Beasties. She can be found on Instagram at beastly.doodles or on Patreon at patreon.com/beautifulbeasties. If you want to get a hold of us, email us at moonharborheroes@gmail.com or on Twitter at moonharborcast. If you enjoyed this issue, please consider leaving us a review on iTunes and recommending it to friends. Word of mouth is really the best way for us to bring these stories to more people. And thanks for helping us save the world. We'll see you next issue.